Well, hello, hello. Hi, Julie. Welcome to Unique Career Spotlight. How are you doing today?
Hi, Laura. Thank you so much for having me on today. I'm really thrilled to be able to talk with you, and you know how I feel about spouse employment for the military spouse community. So
Absolutely. Thank you. And I was so excited, so I jumped right away to greet you, but I want to let everyone know that this is Unique Career Spotlight brought to you by SpouseSforce Live, powered by Blue Star Careers. And we bring you very unique career spotlights from military spouses who are making it happen, who just took charge of their own career path and said, this is what I want, this is what I'm doing, this is what fits with my lifestyle. And in this case, I have Julie Shepard. I'm very blessed and happy, humbled to be connected with her. We have a history back in San Diego, and our history has followed all the way our connection through the DC, Virginia area. And now as director of MilSpouse Fest, which I love MilSpouse Fest. Who doesn't love MilSpouse Fest? If you're not familiar with MilSpouse Fest, it's all about the listener, because you will know what an amazing work she'll be doing very soon out in breaking out into the community. But most importantly, what led her to this job. So further ado, Julie, tell us all about you and your unique career. How are you?
I am great. It's great weather here today. It's been really rainy in Virginia Beach this past week. But a little bit about me. I'm a Navy spouse of 25 years. I was writing down like how many places we've lived, and I just stopped counting because it's too many, all over the world. But I'm actually a Virginia native. I grew up in Northern Virginia, and 15 of our 25 years actually we spent in Alexandria, not consecutive. And I'm really excited to be in the Virginia Beach area where we have such a high concentration of military families, so I can continue to do advocacy work for children's education issues. And now with my job, it's really great.
So what is your job, young lady? Tell us all about you, Miss Julie Shepard. This is, your job could be considered like the dream job for so many of us military spouses out there who are trying to advocate, who are trying to break it in and just lay down the foundation for a lot of military spouses to break it into, whether that is through the workforce or resources or services in general. But you have a very unique and amazing job. Tell us all about your job.
Well,
what is your job?
Thank you. As the director of MilSpouse Fest, we are a modern network for military spouses, and we bring fun events around the country in virtual and in-person environment. And actually, I attended my very first MilSpouse Fest event in San Diego around the time that Laura and I met through networking through a Chamber of Commerce out there. So I really, other than going to that one in-person event, I wasn't really super familiar with MilSpouse Fest. I had been working from home, doing advocacy work, helping my kids get through virtual schooling during COVID, and I was reached out and asked to apply for this job. And talking about lifestyle, some of us choose to stay home for a while with our kids when they're going through school. And that one of the things that's been great for me in transitioning back to full-time work is the fact that this is mostly a remote job, except for the few times a year that I do travel to go to the events. So being able to still be here in the house, my kids are older, so they don't need me full-time, but not having that, to travel and deal with traffic and stress. It's really been great.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Now, when you find out about this job, or and you were aware of it, what made it be such a good fit for you based on your background? Because you've been trailblazing and advocating for military spouses primarily in the Virginia area. And so when you saw this and you're like, whoa, or you found out about it, how was this? You immediately capture your attention and said, this is a must fit. This is a must be job for me.
So this was a really unique opportunity for me because so much of the work that I've done through my children's education in the schools and in the community, helping build community, I was like, wow, this finally gives me a place that I can work with other military spouses to solve the needs of the community, where we're not an advocacy organization, but I can partner with all these other advocacy groups, other military spouse organization, military service organizations such as Blue Star Families, to really get in there and get my hands dirty. And we are owned by a media company, so we can promote others doing this work in the community and bring their stories to light. Like, that is what I really want to be able to be doing. So, I mean, we'll talk a little bit about Blue Star Families because that's why we're here, right? But I use the survey results in my advocacy work. And I really want to frame what we're doing in our direction for MilSpouse based on what we already have the proof and the data to show what the community, what the military families and spouse community needs.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah. And thank you for that plug-in for the survey, because it is very, it's good data. Obviously it's great. It has its great traction of all the different policies and things that it has helped shape up and change. One of them is military spouse unemployment and underemployment, for which, now as an employee spouse, you see yourself, you probably reflect back and see yourself, the history of your own career path and how you were very cautious about choosing the right opportunity that would actually fit with your mission, with your, your personal mission as well. And then being that it also had a good service to our community as well. Now, Julie, in words for other spouses that might be losing hope or just not very well, tracking the mindset of, hey, I can actually find the ideal career. What sort of tips will you share for them that work for you?
So I believe strongly in networking. And I don't mean just talking to every single person you meet, but intentional networking, looking for places that you can meet others that have shared visions and shared goals, values. And we always tell military spouses when they move, volunteer. And that's sometimes that can be a tricky conversation because they're like, I need a paid job. I don't want to volunteer. Right. However, if you can find a group that you might be interested in, or maybe there's some new skill set that you want to learn because we sometimes move somewhere that we can't work in the field that we had originally chosen, take a hard look at that. I was given some great advice when I left San Diego, when I went back to DC, about what types of organizations I should get involved with and where I should spend my time. And I've been able to maintain those connections with people and the networking and the volunteering that I've done, which is ultimately how I found myself here.
That's wonderful. Yeah. And you're so right. I mean, volunteer work opportunities or support is great, but I always tell the people that I try to connect with, volunteer with a purpose. What's in it for you, and what are you going to take away at the end of the day? Because I meet so many spouses that volunteer 40, 50 hours a week, and that just clouds completely your time for you to do your own job search, or you don't have time, or you're doing it very, very fast and furious, so to say, but you don't take time to do attention to detail when it comes to the right opportunities. And not every organization that you volunteer can actually hire you. Sometimes they don't have the budget, they don't have the opportunity to do so. But you're right, networking is incredible because that's how you find out about things. But also voice your interest in job opportunities and be mindful, and be also, when you're voicing, what sort of opportunities are you really looking for? Because that's the power of networking. That individual will come in and share with you the right fit. Now, I know that we normally talk about you and just you and not necessarily your employer, but in this case, I do want to put spotlight about the great work that you're doing behind the scenes, because you took over and you creating the entire MilSpouse Fest moving forward, programming for everybody, for us to enjoy for the rest of the year. But before I move into those questions, I want to ask you, what's next for Julie? What are you doing career-wise? What should we look for in the near future for you?
Well, right now, I'm just really excited about the new team members that have joined MilSpouse Fest and working with them and creating a really positive team culture that we can support each other to do the work to give back to the military spouse community. I just started in April, and it's kind of a crazy thing that I took this job.
Like you'd be like this.
Right. I PCS'd 2 weeks after I started the job, and then my service member deployed for a month after I got here. So now I'm like, all right, now we've got everyone on board and we're ready to hit the ground. All cylinders are firing, and so right now I'm just focusing on the career that I'm currently with before I think about what's going on for 2022. But do you want to hear about what's going on with MilSpouse Fest?
What is going on for 2022? And what you tell us, I'm going to bring the link so we can share with everyone how to get involved with MilSpouse Fest. So tell us what's going on with.
So I spent July working on some focus groups, and I talked with our sponsors, and I talked with some past attendees, and then I went behind the scenes and kind of came up with some great ideas for going into the fall. So just this last week, we launched our links for our in-person September 16th MilSpouse Fest in Hampton Roads. So if you live down here in Virginia Beach, Norfolk, actually anywhere in Virginia if you want to drive, we're going to be live. And I'm so excited to bring the fest to you. I haven't signed the contract with the keynote yet, but I know you guys are going to love who we're bringing on for this to help make dreams reality is the theme. If you don't live in Hampton Roads, I don't want you to feel left out. October 5th, we're going to be back in virtual, and this is a great opportunity if you're not going to live in one of the 3 locations we're going to be for 2021, and this is totally topical to what we're talking about today because the entire thing is going to be focused on spouse employment and careers, and our very own Laura Torres is going to have a spot in this, in the 2 virtuals. We'll have a morning to catch our East Coast friends, and then we'll have an evening one to catch our West Coast friends or overseas folks.
I am so excited. You know, my very first MilSpouse Fest, I felt like I was in Disneyland, seriously. It was here in San Diego, and it was back in 2017. And I remember I came back right away, and I told my boss at that time, I said, like, we have to join this place. We have to join this group. We have to have a table next year. And sure enough, the following year, we had a table. And then so on. After that, we've been great partners, and we've done some incredible work together. But I just love, I love the camaraderie, just the connections you made, the table events, the live events definitely go by far a great connection, but the virtual ones also that we're able to enjoy it over the past 6 months after, 6-7 months that after you guys switched to virtual, were also very incredible. You had some great speakers, great topics. So really looking forward to the 2021 and this live session. So take advantage.
Absolutely. That's not all. We're going to be in Fort Drum in October and your hometown of San Diego in November. We're going to finish out our year with one more virtual event in December. And then hopefully by then we'll have our plans out for 2022. See where we're coming next.
Perfect. So there's the link. So if you're not familiar with MilSpouse Fest, of course, you can go and find out all about what Julie's doing, what she's creating. You can click on the link for events, and that's how you can sign up for the events. And definitely, enjoy the virtuals and enjoy it. If you're in a physical location, go to the physical location for sure, because you'll come out of there with not only a bunch of goodies, a lot of great treats that all the partners bring. That's also another add-on, but the memories and the pictures. Julie, show us the graphic that everybody gets to go and do the self-cam.
We've got our MilSpouse Fest. We've got MilSpouse hashtag. Yeah, follow us on social media. We'll be sharing all sorts of cool Facebook Lives and all the fun, bringing the fest before the fest so you know what to expect when you get there.
There you go. And thank you, Courtney. Look, Courtney says, excited to participate in the October session. So Courtney, tag 10 of your friends so you can fill your table. Because in my days when I went to this MilSpouse Fest Live, we had 10 individuals per table. Normally, there were people that you didn't know, but which is great because then you walk away with 10 new members and new community members and network members for you, to your network, but also friends, military spouse friends that you get to build up as well. But also bring 10 new members so that they can all enjoy this great event.
That's great. Courtney is a fantastic education advocate for military children. So we met going to Richmond actually to advocate together. So
fantastic. Thank you. So the next, anything else, Julie? How can our community support you and fulfill what you're doing, your direction, your job with this as a director of MilSpouse Fest? How can we all support you?
We want to hear from the community. We want to know what it is that you're looking for from MilSpouse Fest. So go on to our website, follow us on our social media channels, join our Facebook groups. If you go to our Facebook page, MilSpouse Fest, you're going to see the different groups by locations, and we have an attendee group. So you get to communicate with each other. So when you build that community that Laura was talking about, you'll have a place to continue that conversation and support each other after the event is over.
Yes, fantastic. Thank you so much, Julie. Thank you for sharing your unique career spotlight, your new role as a director of MilSpouse Fest, but most importantly too, ways that all military spouses can get involved in the upcoming live events as well as the virtual ones. Thank you for all of the support that you do for our community. Any last thoughts as we get close to wrap this up?
No, I just I think that now is really a good time to look at your values and where you want to be spending your time. And I think that, we've talked about that a little bit earlier, but every year right before kids go back to school, a lot of us do have kids. And then we're like, well, how are we going to spend our time? Like take some time now and plan it out. So that way you can be really happy about how you spent the rest of your 2021, and tying into our theme, that'll help make your dreams reality. Right. So
there you go. Let's make your
so
dreams.
Much, Laura, for having me on. I'm really excited to see you in San Diego in November.
Absolutely. Me too. And I'm signing up for all 4 events. So we're going to be there for all 4 events for sure. You're doing 4 events, right? Because you always do 4 events in San Diego.
Too.
Perfect. So there's the link to sign up with about MilSpouse Fest and find out more, of course, everything that it's going on. And then if you want to connect with Julie and just in general collaborate, build her network, and continue to support her career growth, there's Julie's profile. And then one last plug-in, of course, join our virtual community, Spouse Force, because I have some little bird told me, Julie, that perhaps you found out about the MilSpouse Fest role through Spouse Force. So I'm just saying that. And a couple of other people.
That's right. That's right.
Spouse Force works.
Both myself and our new digital media manager actually came to MilSpouse Fest by way of Laura Torres and Spouse Force. So that's right. It does work.
It does work. So thank you so much, Julie, for your time today. And if you have a very unique career spotlight, I invite you to share it with us. We'd love to be able to share with our members what a great work you're doing out in the community, but most importantly, empower each other so we can continue to grow. Thank you, Julie. Have a great rest of your day. Planning great activities for us.